Hello, Degens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes Final Four Best Bets, Locks, and Predictions. I, of course, am the Brofect1 AJ. Joining me, as always, is the man with the numbers, sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond, all hail the king of the links, the money train, Mr. Noah Engelbretson. Noah, bro, can we talk about? Yeah, we've known each other for a while now. We have talked about a lot of college basketball. We've been talking about it for 2 years now here on the show. And what a change of pace with this Final Four. I mean, I know it's one of those things that's been talked about all over, all sports media and everything, but it's got to be talked about. We went from the Blue Bloods to the nobodies, essentially, in this Final Four, bro, and I fucking love it.
Yeah. I wouldn't say nobodies. We went from the Blue Bloods to the New Bloods.
Hey, okay, new Blue Bloods to the New Bloods. Let's fucking go.
I'm not gonna say I should trademark that or anything because I'm sure I'm not the first person who's come up with that.
But
But but accurate. I mean, hey, we got three out of the four schools. It's the first ever Final Four in school history. And then you got UConn, who my only question is how many years until you get blue blood status, right? Because Villanova, just as an example, I don't consider them a blue blood right now because recency,
yes, recency
But
bias.
I,
Yeah,
I but I think you look at Villanova, Gonzaga. I mean, those are the main two that come to mind. I think they're that tier two, right behind Blue Bloods, right? They don't have the amount of years of history as a program, but they've been very good. UConn too. I didn't realize until I was doing some more digging in the last week. 2008 was UConn's first ever Final Four.
yeah.
I think they've made like five Final Fours since. They've won two national championships. No, that's not true. That's not true. I think they have two Final Fours and two national championships, like five Elite Eights, all in the last 15 years, because that's all since 2008. This program was nothing on the basketball radar before 2008, and they are big time now. Like I said,
No,
I think eight Sweet 16s, five Elite Eights, two Final Fours, two championships. I think another, but it's like how many? Another five, another 10 years of this continued success. I'm
I
gonna
think
say another 10 years. I'm gonna say you put it
I'd
to
say
25
10.
years. You can, yeah. I think 10 more years before I can call him a blue blood of college basketball, because I think you got to have 20. I mean, I don't know, 25. It's just a nice even round number, quarter century to me. In my mind, 25 years of continued success, and I guess I'll call you a blue blood.
See, and I guess it might be my what have you done for me now lately? And UConn's done a lot for me now lately if we talk about Final Four's Elite Eight
Well,
appearances.
they've
And
they've had
so that's why I would say 20. I think 20 years, if you consistently
uh,
perform in March Madness and you consistently put up the numbers UConn has been putting up, then that's when you start talking about blue blood status. 25, I think, is when you confirm it and you're like, no, they're absolutely a blue
so
blood. But 20 is when you're like, yeah, no, they need to be in that conversation.
so. Question for you, AJ. Then, do you consider Gonzaga or Villanova or both of them a blue blood program at this point?
Gonzaga, no shot whatsoever because they are so piss poor in the tournament. Um,
They've made what eight straight Sweet 16s,
yeah, but that's
and
it.
they've made the Elite Eight 5 out of the last 8 years.
How many natties?
None,
Yep, that's
and
where the
and only one
conversation stops for me.
and only one appearance. But
That's where the conversation stops, though. UConn's got
okay,
two.
okay. What about Villanova?
How many they got again?
I think Jay Wright won.
They only got one.
No, do they?
I don't know.
They've
That's why I'm asking you because if they're only at one, I would not consider them a blue blood either whatsoever. I think the only other team that should be in the conversation is UConn. I mean, I get them, they kind of had to do it with the tagline last year with all the teams, but I would consider Villanova a staple in college basketball. But if they only got one natty in the last 10, 20 years, I mean.
I think they have more than one. If they've got two, maybe three.
If they're chilling with two, then yeah, absolutely a blue blood in my book.
Yeah, they've got three.
Three in the last,
Four,
20?
So Villanova won in 85, 2016, and 2018, runners up in 71. Didn't do much between. Well, no, that's not true. They made 3 Elite Eights in the 80s, four Elite Eights in the 80s, 5 since the turn of the century. I'm now that I'm looking at these numbers, I'd call Villanova a blue blood. Plus, they fit because pretty much every blue blood is a blue team, which is just weird. I don't know if that's where the term came from. I probably not, but kind of funny because you got like Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, Kansas. You throw Villanova in the mix. All these teams with like blue as their primary color are all the blue bloods.
But hey, Noah, enough about the old bloods. We're talking about the new bloods, right, brother? We got a lot going on. We got FAU, San Diego State, Miami, and UConn in the picture. Are you ready to get into the picks, brother?
Yes, sir. I do have one last thought on that. I do think one team that has sometimes been described as a blue blood, who I don't know if they are anymore. They did get a 4 seed this year, but Indiana, I don't know if that to me, it's like, what have you done for me lately? And they haven't been good. Like,
no,
in the last 10, 15 years. So
it's been a long
know.
time since I've considered Indiana a good team in any sport.
But looking at Villanova's stats, I'm willing to put them as a blue blood. Gonzaga, I don't think quite there. UConn, another team who's blue. I think they need another 5 to 10 years of this continued success, because there's not many accolades with that program prior to like 2008. But we'll see. I mean, they
could pull off another year.
They've had maybe one of the most impressive 15-year stretches of like any program. Not the most, but it's up there. What they've done in the last 15 years since 2008. Pretty impressive.
No, love it. Yeah, seriously. Unbelievable stuff. Almost in the conversation for blue blood. I'm sure we'll talk about that, especially if they win their game, but we'll get to their game in a moment. You ready to dive in, Noah?
Yes, sir.
Let's do it. FAU, San Diego State, first one on the docket. San Diego State, 2-point favorites going in, total 132.
Mm-hmm.
We're flying with the Owls, right?
Hoot, hoot, motherfucker. I think this will be a very close, very tight game. San Diego State, a very like fixed identity. They play really tough defense.
Really
aggressive. That's how they
basketball.
roll.
Yeah.
FAU, they play based on their opponent. Which is why they've made it this far. This team, obviously a very good team, a team that I had going very far in half of my brackets when I didn't pick them losing to Oral Roberts in the Sweet 16, which was the other half. But yeah, I didn't have a single bracket where I picked Duke, Tennessee, or Purdue to be in the Elite Eight. All of them were either FAU or Oral Roberts. I picked FAU to beat Memphis in every single bracket, even though Memphis was like, that was a hot pick.
Yeah.
If you looked at the public, it was like 83% of the public picked Memphis. Like 83% of brackets had Memphis over FAU in that 8-9 matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like, I mean, like Ken Pom, FAU's 24th in offensive and 30th in defense right now. They beat San Diego State and they played in the national championship. They're going to be top 20 in both offense and defense just because, the way Ken Pom measures everything. But, and I know people are like really obsessed with using Ken Pom, including myself. I love Ken Pom. I don't give it as much weight as a lot of people have, especially this year on social media.
Yeah.
Funny because, like, when I was using Ken Pom 3 or 4 years ago and nobody knew what Ken Pom was, and I'm like, oh, this is like the marquee for how you measure teams. Whatever, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, San Diego State's just like I said, they're going to play their game the way they do. FAU seems to be able to adapt, and I think that's a big reason for their success.
Yeah.
Is they can win playing multiple different styles of play.
Yes. And that is the thing that I've been trying to hammer home.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
That's why they're 35-3 now with their 4 tournament wins. They're 31-3 going into the tournament.
I'm with you.
I think they're 28-3 in regular season play. 3 wins in the conference tournament, 4 wins now in March Madness. But I have seen them play different styles of basketball, different paces. They're not married or tied to an identity where you can't expose this team because they can do whatever the fuck they want. They just and huge shout out to Dusty May especially, but also the players. The fact that they are able to just adapt to how the game is being played, and that's why they've had some first halves where they've been down, but they are dangerous in the second half. I mean, we saw that in the Kansas State game. We saw that in the Tennessee game. I think they were trailing in both of those at halftime. Or they might have been up a point or two in the Kansas State game. I don't remember. But yeah, this team is something special. There's something special. And I do just want to take a second to shout out Conference USA, who FAU will not be in next year.
No.
Right?
No, they're not. They're going to be in the Big East? No,
they're moving 10? To the American.
American, that's right.
Yep, because Houston, UCF, Cincinnati, and Tulane, I think, are going to the Big 12.
That's right.
Not Tulane. Houston, Cincinnati, UCF, and then BYU.
Yeah.
But FAU is moving from Conference USA to the American. So, a little upgrade there. But,
a little bit. But yeah, anyway.
But yeah, FAU in the Final Four. And then you got UAB and why am I spacing here, AJ? Help me out. UAB and North Texas.
Yes. In the
playing
finals.
in the NIT final. So you've got two Conference USA teams playing each other in the NIT championship, and you got the other one in the Final Four. So the top 3 teams, and a whole nother big ass conversation for another day is, should these teams have been in the NCAA tournament over these 8th and 9th place teams in power conferences? The answer is yes. If you disagree, you're wrong, and I hate you, because UAB and North Texas probably would have won first round games, or at least threatened to, and then you got FAU in the Final Four. So
yeah, no. So I believe we're both on FAU money line.
Yeah, but also, I mean, huge respect to SDSU. They've had a really great season, really good team. But I just think FAU's ability to adapt is what's going to win them this game.
No, I agree. I'm with you on that. Next game on the docket, Miami Hurricanes, Connecticut Huskies. Noah Public is grossly on the Huskies. I will not lie. You got about 75% of the bets, 75% of the money on the Huskies. You got a lot of action on the Huskies, and I can't blame them. I really can't. 5.5-point spread, 149.5 the total. I mean, UConn's been a machine this tournament, just an absolute machine, and I don't know another word to describe them as. Whereas the Miami, I mean, at least for me, they've been an absolute surprise in this tournament, and they're playing extremely well. 5.5 seems like a lot of points to me, especially in a Final Four game. So I would probably lean Miami plus the 5.5. I think UConn wins this outright, though.
Yeah.
It's a tough
Yeah.
one because, I mean, even with me saying Miami 5.5, I still see UConn covering this game by 11.
Yeah.
Going UConn minus 5.5, actually. I changed my mind.
Yeah, this is a really tough one for me because these are two teams that I talked about as teams that I thought could really make a deep run at the beginning of the tournament.
Yeah.
Obviously, I held off on Miami on my picks, my official picks that we made on the show, and it probably about like half of my brackets I held off on Miami. Had them losing in either the first or second round, and about half of them had them going. They were the weirdest team for me because I had them going as deep as the Final Four in some brackets, and then I had them losing in the first or second round in others because their center was injured, and I didn't know if he was going to be playing or not, and that makes a big difference. You know, they were playing a really tough. Who were they playing in the first round? They were.
I don't even remember at this point.
I know Indiana played Kent State. They were playing. Give me 2 seconds here.
I will.
A couple more than 2 seconds, maybe.
I'm trying to.
All right. They played. I'm on the right date now. They played Drake, a really tough Drake team.
Yeah. Okay.
Oldest team in college basketball. And that was a close game actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miami really good. I mean, just fucking Isaiah Wong, absolute stud that does not get talked about enough. And then Nigel Pack, really great player on top of that. And the big story has been Jordan Miller has just been playing outstanding. Like we knew we were going to get really good production out of Wong and Pack, but Miller has been the difference maker, the reason this team has made the Final Four. And UConn's a really, really, really good team, which is the reason I picked them in the Final Four in a number of my brackets. I had them in the champ. Didn't pick them to win any of them, but I had them, losing in the championship in a couple of them. But watch out for Miami.
Yeah.
This team is. It just feels like that they're clicking. They're hot. Larinaga taking his second program to a Final Four. Did it with George Mason. If you remember George Mason,
I remember that time.
As an 11 seed back in, was that 2006 or whatever, which was back in 2006, going to the Final Four as an 11 seed was crazy. I think still probably the lowest seed that's ever made the Final Four. Yeah, Larinaga, really good coach. I'm torn on this one. I do think UConn has the best chance at winning the national championship out of any of these four teams. But I'm gonna take a little leap here, and I'm gonna take Miami.
All right.
I'm gonna take Miami over UConn in this one.
Fair enough. We're both on FAU. Noah's on Miami. I'm on UConn. It's gonna be a great Final Four. Noah, you got anything else to say to the D-Gens before we sign off on this college basketball?
Yeah, just because like national championship wise, whoever wins between Miami and UConn, I think wins the national championship. And I'd be willing to bet by double digits, unfortunately. But hey, go Owls, baby. Hoot hoot. Let's keep it fucking rolling.
I'm riding Owls all the way to the Natty. Let's go. Thank you all for listening and watching. Shout out to our 64 subscribers on the Rumble and the 249 now subscribed on the YouTube. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Please consider giving us a like, share, and subscribe. We will have live coverage following the national championship game on Monday, so make sure you got notifications turned on for that. With that being said, I am been the Brofect1 AJ. That's the Money Train Noah. And we will see you next time on Degenerate Takes. And we're clear.